Welcome to Red Sky University. This is our design video on how to add new icons to a file and optimize them for Icomoon. So I'm here in our Red Sky framework file, and this is what we use as a basis for all of our design files for clients. And I want to zoom into our little icon section here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to import 3 different icon files and optimize them for Icomoon, and then that in turn will help us use them for our design. So the first way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to my Phosphor icons plugin. There are many plugins available on Figma for icons, and I'm just going to look up factory, drag that into my file. And the next one I want to do is leveraging our material design icons file, which we've already published and is accessible in our Red Sky framework file. Here I'm just going to look up building and just pull in one that I think looks interesting, like this one. And then the last way I'm going to pull in an icon is through this material design icons website, and these are fan created icons that are supposed to match material design specifications. So I'm going to click on this factory one, which I've already searched for, go down here, view SVG, and then download the SVG, which will download the file for me. I'll open Figma back up and then open my downloads, find that file, and then drag it in. And so just so we can look at them all next to each other, I'll put them all next to each other. So here we've got 3 different icons that we're working with from 3 different sources. Now the way Icomoon works is we essentially want the icon to touch the edges of the frame that it's contained in. So if we were to use this material designed one off the bat, we can see that it's not flush with any of the edges, and that makes it difficult for our developers to figure out exactly what the dimensions are for the icon, because even if we're designing with padding and spacing built into this icon, what they really see is the actual dimensions here. If we go to our inspect panel, they pretty much ignore the bounding box and they go directly to the icon, and so here it's kind of hard for them to figure out spacing. So this is why we optimize our icons in this way. So we'll just go down the line from this one to this one. So this first one from our Phosphor icons pack, we can see that it's a group, so it's not framed, and then it's got this empty vector. So first thing is, if we click Ctrl-Shift-G, we'll ungroup this. We'll delete this vector because it doesn't do anything. And another issue with Icomoon is that it doesn't work well with strokes. So first things first, we need to convert all of these into a fill. You can do that by right-clicking and doing outline stroke, or just doing the keys Ctrl-Shift-O. So now you see that they've all been converted. We also want to make them a union, so they're just one vector, and then Ctrl-E to flatten that union so it's just one. And I'm also renaming the layer to vector, which I'll explain later on. So now we've got our vector, and I'm going to resize it so that its widest point will be 24 pixels. Sometimes we get odd numbers. You can either, I like to keep it even since we work with an 8 pixel system, so I'll just make it 1 pixel taller. And then Ctrl-Alt-G on Windows frames the selection. I'm gonna hold Control to resize my frame to 24 by 24 because it was short by 2 pixels. And then we will center our icon in the frame, and then we can also recolor our icon so it has a color style attached to it. Next, what I'm going to do is Ctrl-R, rename this to be factory, and then finally our last step, Ctrl-Alt-K, to turn this icon into a component. With our material design icons, they've already been componentized because it's pulling from the material design file, where we can actually switch between, the different styles. So let's say I like the round version of this building. I'll detach the instance, Ctrl-Alt-B, and do the same exact thing, except some of the work's already done for us, like their vector is already named vector, and then their frame is already named and it's already in a frame. So all we have left to do is resize this to 24 by 24. It happens to be square. Recolor, and then Control-Alt-K, convert it to a component. Last but not least, this is our downloaded SVG file. So similar to our material one, the only difference is that it's not componentized already, but it is called vector and it just needs to be resized a bit. So we'll drag this out, recolor it, and then Control-Alt-K. Now we've got our icons ready to be used in designs and optimized. So our last step is I'm gonna cut them and then paste them here in our icon section, and then tidy them up, give them spacing of 40. And here we have our icons. Now to test this out, I'm just gonna pull in a button component right here. I'm gonna add the icon to it. The reason we name our icons in the layers panel to have the name vector for every single one is because when it comes to swapping icon instances, we can easily do that through here. And what this allows us to do is it allows the icon to maintain the color that was originally set in the component. So our button components have white text, white icons, and so when I swap this, it maintains that color for all of our icons. That was our tutorial on optimizing icons for Icomoon. Thanks for watching.